What's better than earning a banging platinum to a game that revived a franchise you've adored for over 35 years? When the devs drop DLC that takes this great game and plat and make both near friggin' perfect. What the hell does Mr. X's Nightmare DLC do to the base game and Platinum? Why does it change everything and nothing at the same time? How does it make the Platinum much easier and yet not at all easier simultaneously? And why is it that this DLC is so damn addictive I am still playing it 6 weeks after earning the game's 100%? Now don't worry, you chill, relax, I'll explain everything in 10 minutes or less. This is the DLC that made its game and Platinum better in every single way. So let's go back to the streets of rage. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, the Platinum journey is pretty tough. The DLC is hella grindy, but combine these two for the completionist special 100% and everything is just perfect. Streets of Rage 4 has 19 bronzes, 20 silvos and 3 goldies in the base game you have to earn to pop that platinum, while the DLC adds an additional 3 bronzes and 5 silvos. I'll talk you through each stage of the platinum and 100%, explaining the differences the DLC makes and giving scores for everything at the end for both separately. As you work towards the grindiest base game trophy, you'll earn Bleeding Knuckles for racking up 5 million life points. But the initial 8 full story runs will help with that. A ton of story related trophies, some practically unmissable, and a bunch of easy miscellaneous trophies will pop during this first stage. A no damage run and completing a level on Maniac difficulty sound much harder than they actually are, but will help massively towards your Bleeding Knuckles. The challenge for the Platinum comes in S ranking all 12 stages, but we will get to that at the end. With Axel, Adam and Blaze dragged out of the 90s and returned to gamers' screens with a modern revival in Wood Oak City, the stars aligned and the fates spoke. This was to be a family affair. With my son visiting, we took on the story as a family, me, crew, and both our kids. A beautiful and cherished experience to share something so special from my childhood with them all and enjoy it together. My 8-year-old is currently working on the Platinum herself. Impressive kid. And sat playing proudly with my wife and kids, I popped a handful of trophies in the first of many playthroughs. Now, kids do suck and the game is much harder in multiplayer because it changes how the AI responds, so enemies become very unpredictable, making this entire playthrough a lot of fun. But there is a trophy for hitting a co-op partner, so you will have to at least self-boost some stuff. Co-op is actually the quickest and surest way to ruin this Platinum too. It's the get out of getting good pass for this game. But that first run took out all these 14 bronzes and 3 silvos and I was only 2 hours in. But this is when the grind starts, after that initial playthrough. As I worked through each character, I realised how truly different each's system was. Each had different movesets that worked in unique ways and interacted with enemies differently. These square button mini blitz special moves don't only deal significant damage, but they also act as a defense, with some of their animations being uninterruptible. Something that will have a major impact later in the video. But as I worked and I learned, I also kept popping trophies, the miscellaneous ones, some retro nostalgia like finding the hidden levels, great to rack up extra points and vital to get an S rank in some levels if playing below hard difficulty. Higher difficulty spawn more enemies, which means it's easier to hit the points requirements for the Bleeding Knuckles. Helps prepare you for the 100 yen arcade run and will be much easier to hit 1000 damage for the Combo Master Silvo. My favourite trophy in this section was the Family Reunion Silvo for transporting the Golden Turkey through stage 8 and smashing the boss right in the kisser with it. Yeet! A trophy that fit the game and my personal experience with it perfectly. Now, I was so close to the Platinum, but I didn't want it to pop. I didn't want it to end. Then the DLC popped up on my PS5 discounted to £2, less than a meal deal at Tesco's. It's a bargain. So without even looking at the trophies, I bought it and added it instantly. The DLC introduces 3 bosses from the base game as playable characters, Estelle, Max and Shiva. There's also a secret character you unlock the old school way in the menu, but I'll let you figure that out and enjoy the surprise. These runs were totally different to the previous 8, each character felt ridiculously OP, but it quickly dawned on me that I'd sunk 15 hours into the same 12 stages. It wasn't just due to luck that I was smashing through each stage now. But the bosses have brilliant moves that do much more damage and avoid taking any when used properly. 11 runs in the story mode and each one was different enough for me to enjoy separately. The DLC comes with a survival mode, which is simply wave after wave of enemies getting increasingly harder and harder. You'll need to complete about 1100 of these waves, which take a minute or two, to unlock every alternate move in the game. Now, I didn't realise this until right at the end of my time with the base game, but these alternate moves, unlocked in survival, are available in every single play mode. Yet some of these are insanely OP, but so are the base game characters in places. The retro characters, especially the Streets of Rage 1 characters, deal significantly more damage than the modern ones with their basic attacks. The police car is pretty epic and used appropriately can take out an entire screen of enemies, and a trophy for that will help you along to the Platinum too. But the OP moves are tempered by a system that only allows you to replace moves with a like-for-like alternative, meaning you can't just stack your character with every badass special and blitz move. Although the varying blitz moves using the square button can be linked up in combos for some utterly, truly devastating damage. The alternate moves are a mega grind, and the DLC adds another 30 hours to your total playtime, as much, maybe more, than the Platinum itself. But it's so worth it. The survival mode gives you buffs every wave you complete, which are totally random, as is everything in survival mode. These buffs can accumulate. The constant variation in enemies, environments, buffs and handicaps make this mode one of the best in the genre I've ever played. It's truly brilliant and utterly addictive. Bleeding knuckles for S ranks. But with the story completion trophies popped for the DLC and the XP added to my total score, I still had half the S ranks to earn and about 1,000,000 points to accrue. The easiest way to earn S ranks is by raising the difficulty, and the extra points cut down on your grind significantly. Yes, you do get bonus points for finishing a stage with a full health bar and the amount of star moves you have left, but it's the accumulation of damage in combos that get you the real big scores. The Combo Master trophy is easiest earned in higher difficulties too, for the same reason, especially if you don't have the DLC. Switch it to hard or mania and just blitz through. Literally. On Mania, you can die 2-3 times and still get an S rank on most levels. The trickiest stage could possibly be the train level because it's short and easy to miss the jumps, so you can get hit and lose your combo very easily. Mania difficulty here is your best friend. But with the DLC, the extra characters and moves make these runs far more fun, as you can really play with your playstyle. But truly, this is all just warm up for survival mode. Now by this stage, you should have the confidence, knowledge and experience to take on arcade mode on hard. Now this can be done close to the 5 million marker, as there's no need to rush it unless you want to. You will of course earn an awful lot more points for doing arcade mode in one sitting over and over again than you will doing individual stages over and over. Now I'll also advise that this is easier done solo because of the unpredictability of the AI responses when playing co-op. Co-op can make much of the game far easier, however. A sneaky way to earn S ranks easily is to load up the stage you want to do in 2-player, get the second character to burn off their health using the square moves, and then kill them with a punch. They'll get a big bonus for not taking enemy damage, adding 10,000 points to your score, making any S rank a doddle. The no damage run can be exploited in a similar way, but neither are at all necessary. Combos and no damage. For the combos, you can always jump into Survivor, where the trophy will almost inevitably pop without you even trying by around wave 12 to 14. If you're not in Mr. X's Nightmare, then just go to your favourite stage of the story and whack up the difficulty to increase the number of enemies. The no damage runs can be done on any difficulty, but normal is probably best. The easiest way to do this is to use Floyd and spam your defense and grab square moves throughout the stage. But the easiest I found was actually the short train level, as there are few enemies and the boss fight is one of the easier ones, as we've already fought Estelle and the Commissioner before. The DLC introduces a glorious combat system that really allows players to devise their own combat style and take on the game however they want. Despite the DLC doubling the completion time and being a big beastie grind on paper, I can honestly say I've never enjoyed a 30-hour grind more in my entire life. The utterly addictive survival mode is as Moorish as Brotato, with its never-ending cycle of glorious rage-fueled violence. I don't believe the DLC affects the Platinum's difficulty too much, but the freedom to customize your combat does make a big difference, and some of the alternate moves are incredibly helpful in avoiding damage. The customization option, survival mode and additional characters the DLC provides really fleshes out the base game to make it feel truly complete. It was already so damn good, but Mr. X made it near perfect. Review! Simple solo. This Platinum will take you 25 hours and has a difficulty as 6 out of 10 if you do it legit. It's 3 out of 10 if you use that second controller. The 100% is a 50-60 hour heavenly grind and a difficulty of 5 out of 10. For a £20, $30 base game, that is some decent value for money. With the DLC being 7 and doubling the playtime, Mr. X's Nightmare is a proper bargain. Hardest trophy is the no damage run, and the most fun for me was the level 30 in survival. This is as luck based as it is skill based due to the mode's RNG system. Streets of Rage 4 isn't just one of the best side-scrolling beat-em-ups of the modern generation, but I'd argue it sits in the pantheon of true greats, like its predecessors. I loved it more and more every second I played it, and never once got bored or fed up with it. That is possibly my highest ever recommendation for DLC. Are you going to go for the platinum, or will you to immerse yourself in that survival mode? Let me know in the comments. Happy hunting, heroes. Be good to each other.